السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. في مطلع كانون الثاني يناير المنصرم شهدت ولاية كارناتاكا الهندية اضطرابات تتعلق بالزي المدرسي عندما منع طالبات مسلمات في إحدى الكليات الإعدادية الراغبات في ارتداء الحجاب من حضور الفصول الدراسية على أساس أنه أمر يعد انتهاكا للقانون المتعلق بسياسة الزي الموحد للكلية. ومع ارتفاع وتيرة الخلاف وحدته بشأن الحجاب في كارناتاكا وعرض القضية أمام المحكمة العليا، انتشرت التظاهرات في جميع أنحاء البلاد، ونظم المتظاهرون عدة احتجاجات مطالبين بالسماح للطالبات المسلمات بارتداء الحجاب في الفصول الدراسية. على مدار الأسابيع التالية امتد النزاع إلى مدارس وكليات أخرى في جميع أنحاء الولاية، حيث نظمت مجموعات من الطلاب الهندوس احتجاجات مضادة من خلال المطالبة بارتداء أوشحة باللون الزعفراني في الكليات، وهو اللون الذي ينظر إليه على أنه رمز هندوسي. وفي 5 شباط فبراير أصدرت حكومة ولاية كارناتاكا أمرا ينص على وجوب ارتداء الزي الرسمي بشكل إلزامي، حيث توجد سياسات ولا يمكن إجراء استثناء لارتداء الحجاب. إثر ذاك استشهد العديد من المؤسسات التعليمية بهذا الأمر، ومنعت الفتيات المسلمات اللاتي يرتدين الحجاب من الدخول إلى الصفوف. وفي آذار مارس الماضي أيدت محكمة كارناتاكا العليا أمر الحكومة بشأن الحجاب في قضية تاريخية يمكن أن تكون لها تبعات وخيمة وخطرة في جميع أنحاء الهند. للنظر أكثر من الداخل في أسباب منع الحجاب في الكليات، وهل يعد ذلك انتهاكا لحرية الدين والمعتقد والحقوق المدنية وحرية المرأة بشكل عام؟ وماذا عن الآثار المجتمعية والتربوية والتعليمية للمرأة المسلمة وحريتها في ممارسة حقوقها التي يكفلها الدستور في الهند اليوم؟ وماذا عن المآلات السياسية المتطرفة لقرار تهميشي كهذا للمرأة المسلمة؟ يطيب لنا أن نستقبل من مدينة حيدر آباد في جنوب الهند المربية والناشطة الاجتماعية الأستاذة ماريا تبسم، مديرة مؤسسة المدينة العالمية، هذا الصرح التربوي الذي يضم مجموعة من المدارس والكليات. أهلا بكم إلى حلقة جديدة من الداخل، معكم زينب صفار، تابعونا. Maria Tebessum, Director, Medina and Global Group of Institutions, Educator and Social Activist, joining us from Hyderabad in India. Welcome to Min al-Dakhil from the inside, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Zainab, for having me here.
It's
a pleasure to be here with you all.
It's our pleasure to have you, ma'am. Well, Maria, the hijab or the headscarf ban case of Karnataka has moved almost inevitably into a higher orbit of national reckoning. Critics say a recent ban on hijabs in schools in the southern Indian state of Karnataka indicates an attempt to quash religious pluralism in the Hindu majority country. Maria, tell us more about this perilous case. How do you define it? Is it a row, a dispute, a conflict, a violation, a controversy? What is it according to you, and how did it all start?
So that time when the hijab ban started in Karnataka, states were going for election. There were elections going to be held in India and in 5 states. So every time we see that the ruling government in India, the ruling party, they stir up some kind of communal issues and religious issues whenever there are elections coming up. So that time the hijab ban, suddenly the colleges got notice. In one of the colleges, it happened there in ODP in Karnataka, where they sent a notice that the students won't be allowed to come in hijab. And the students were very surprised because any such rule didn't exist in that college. They were allowed to wear the uniform colored hijab. So they started protesting about it. And then they said, we will just not allow you to come into the class with the hijab. And then within 1 month, there were the exams, final exams approaching. So they said even they will be banned from writing the exams. And not only that, you know what they did? This many of the girls, unfortunately, they have missed their exams, and some girls were forced to remove their hijab because they wanted to complete their academic year and not waste their academic year. So either way, the girls had to lose. They had to either give up their studies or they had to give up hijab.
As far as I read that they were allowed to wear the hijab in the campus, but they were obliged to remove it while inside the classroom. I mean, what's the difference between the campus and the classroom?
Yeah. So they said because uniform policy is there in the college, and the uniforms, without uniforms, they won't be allowed to enter in the classroom. So they said you have, and the uniform doesn't allow the hijab, is what their argument was. So they said that if suppose these girls want to wear hijab, tomorrow these boys also want to wear some saffron shawls, and the saffron shawls were indicative on one particular of one particular
Hindu.
party here.
Yes,
so they wanted
Hinduism.
to wear those saffron shawls, and they say it is for the religious identity, which didn't.
But
Hinduism.
yes.
And as till now, we never saw that being religious, a part of the religious identity. But it was like, if these girls are allowed to wear hijab, we will wear the saffron shawls.
According to you, Maria, what is this? I asked. How do you look at it? How do you approach it? How do you define it? Is it a row? Is it a conflict? Is it a controversy? Is it a breach of human rights? How do you look at the matter?
As an Indian, I'm very much disappointed because this takes away the right from me, which the Constitution of India guarantees. It's the right for me to practice my religion, right for me to dress as I like, unless and until it's not immodest or it is not causing any public disorder or disharmony. I don't think my hijab can disturb any public order or it can cause any harm to anyone else. So this is a serious violation of human rights, a serious violation of women's rights, a serious violation of rights of the minorities.
Allow me here to come back and talk about this issue related to the Constitution. An observer notes that there have been several instances of Indian Muslim women becoming the targets of the Hindu hatred. This citizenship is being questioned today, and their patriotism is being challenged. Given that religious nationalism has increased in recent years, Maria, especially with the rise of the ruling right-wing BJP and its RSS extremist ideology, observers have said attempts are being made to create a standardized society by transforming or belittling existing pluralistic structures. Is the attack on the hijab a political attempt to replace India's plurality with the Hindu supremacist uniformity? Was this a political conspiracy, Maria? Because some might argue that the court's decision and the hijab controversy are part of a volatile cultural debate in India over the place of Islam, of which there are over 200 million followers in the country, in a political environment that is becoming increasingly dominated by Hindu nationalism.
Yeah, it is the hijab issue is not to be taken as an individual and isolated incident. So we see every day there is a new incident coming up in the country. So recently, the Gyan Vyapi mosque issue is going on. And then there were, even during Hindu festivals that are being held here, there were very bad name calling and chanting in front of the Muslim masjids. So even though it was a Hindu festival, they tried to disrupt the prayers over there, and wantedly they were playing loud music in front of masjids. And then they also bulldozed a lot of Muslim homes. So this is a sequence that is going on, and hijab is one part of it, one of the things that happen here. But daily there is something new that we are seeing here. So continuously the minorities' right, and particularly Muslim rights, it's being attacked. And definitely it's a government which is trying to suppress us and maybe try to also maybe just make our self-esteem go so low and probably they want to take a revenge that because Muslims ruled this country for centuries together, so now they want to enslave the Muslims.
And not to forget about the CAA, also the Citizenship Amendment Act, also that targets the Muslims of the country.
Yes. So as we see that CAA, that even that law has been passed, and again the Home Minister of India, Mr. Amit Shah, has told that CAA just it was a break because of pandemic, but again we are going to start working on it now, and we are afraid. We are very much afraid that we will be reduced to second citizens in this country.
Does India today deny Muslim girls the right to education just because they want to attend their classes in hijab? I mean, Human Rights Watch criticized the ban as a violation of the right to education without discrimination. Maria, being the director of one of the finest educational institutions in Hyderabad, do you consider the hijab ban as a violation of freedom of religion and of civil rights? And why did they raise the matter just now?
Absolutely. It is when a particular girl is more comfortable wearing a hijab rather than not wearing it, then she should be allowed. In the similar way, no girl should be forced to wear the hijab also. So even that is my stand, that let girls do what they want to do. Let them decide for themselves. And nobody should impose such restrictions on girls, what they should be wearing and what they should not be wearing, unless and until it is immodest.
Maria, allow us to stop now for a short break, and then afterwards we will continue to dive deeper into the hijab ban debate in India today, but after the break. إذا فاصل قصير ونعود، لا تذهبوا بعيدا. أهلا بكم من جديد. ماريا تبسم, Director, Medina and Global Group of Institutions, Educator and Social Activist, joining us from Hyderabad. Welcome back, ma'am. Maria, Bella Hadid, the supermodel, called out India and many other countries for banning hijab, saying, well, it's not your job to tell women what they should wear. Many other influential personalities and leaders and figures also voiced out concerns over this case. The Muslim women's right to wear the hijab is protected by the Article 25 of the Indian Constitution, which guarantees freedom of conscience and the right to practice one's religion. Do you think that by choosing to ban the hijab, the government was selectively targeting Muslim students, and by doing so, this amounts to religious discrimination as per Article 15 of the Indian Constitution?
So, with a lot of difficulty, the women were being pursued here to to go to school and colleges and go to higher education. But now with this kind of bans, it is again going to drag the numbers down. And the Muslim women, already the Muslim women are lagging behind in education when compared to any other community in India. And not only women, but also men. But with this particular stand of the Karnataka government, it has definitely affected many girls, and many have left their education. Many didn't write their exams. Even many teachers who used to wear hijab, they resigned from the government services because they could not tolerate all this happening. So many teachers have lost their jobs in schools and colleges now.
Soon after the UDP episode in Karnataka became public, groups of Hindu students started coming to their colleges, as you talked before, wearing saffron scarves to protest against Muslim students being allowed with hijabs. The saffron protests gained momentum in last February. The saffron protesters, of course, successfully blocked the hijab-wearing Muslim students from entering the college. What would be the implications for this hijab ban? Do you expect violence to tint India more in this context?
See, immediately after this hijab ban, there were elections, and it did benefit this particular party who's trying to incite hate and gain from it. So this majoritarian political party in India, it did gain from it. It did win the elections in four of the 5 states. So that did benefit them. It has become like a very very 100% success formula for them. So they just need to incite some hatred against the minorities and particularly Muslims, and that's a winning shot for them in the elections. So again and again before every election, and now that we have general elections in 24, we are expecting that every day a new issue is going to crop up, and this is going to be magnified by them because it's like a success formula for them now, the hatred.
Right, but some claim that the students, the girls, were just misled by radical groups and that these are just attempts to confuse people and malign India, and that the matter was, as you said, on the other side, was used to polarize election. Your take on this particular issue, please.
No, it's absolutely a false story that they're trying to build a narrative here, that the girls were misguided, they started protesting. No. Since ages, since decades, all the girls have been wearing hijab, have been attending the college. And Karnataka is a state where there is a sizable amount of Muslim population. It's not that all of a sudden one day they start wearing hijab. So this is completely wrong what they are saying. Until now, we have many photos, many videos from Karnataka wherein the girls used to wear hijab even before. And now when you're trying to violate their rights, why will they not protest? They have to. It's their right to protest.
Right. Home Minister Araga Nanendra said that there must be a universal feeling in schools and colleges that, quote, we are all Indians. Does wearing a hijab make you less of an Indian? Does the hijab breach the notion of equality and unity, Maria?
There, the issue was not about changing the uniform. Let the uniform continue whatever was there, and apart from that, just a small piece of cloth of the same color of the uniform, not even a different color, that was to be worn on the uniform. So definitely there is a feeling of uniformity in the schools. And when a Sikh boy is wearing a turban, or there are different kind of Hindus where some wear tilak like this, some wear like this. So even though they are wearing different kind of bindis, there is no discrimination. Everybody is one. All of us are Indians. And if you speak about uniformity, now to make the uniformity more practical, will you name every boy and every girl the same in the school? No. There is pluralism in schools, and that is what the children learn from school. That even though this is a pluralistic environment, we are all one. We are all Indians.
Right. So to those also sects or races inside India, like the Sikhs and others, and the Hindus, for example, religion comes before the state. But there was a storm against you, Maria, when you said that to you, religion is before the state.
Yeah, because that is my personal belief, and my constitution gives me to hold my personal beliefs. And for any Muslim, if you ask, the religion comes first. Whether it is state, whether it is family, whether it is kids, whether it is my husband, the religion comes before everything, and I stick to that point. And suppose I change my country today, I go to some other country, will my constitution change? The constitution of that country changes, right? But the religion remains same throughout the world.
And the religion, it is the religion that teaches us how to love, respect, and get attached to the land, to the country, to the homeland, to our family, to our community. Following the Karnataka High Court ruling, do you feel that you have been betrayed and marginalized by your own country, your own homeland?
So we have gotten used to it, even after the Babri Masjid verdict, where the Supreme Court said that that was a criminal act. That was when they demolished Babri Masjid, they said it was a criminal act. But they did not give the ruling that the masjid should be built again at the same spot. So maybe we are getting used to, unfortunately, this kind of rulings coming in from the courts, wherein maybe according the court knows better the law of India, whatever the judges decide. But it is very disheartening that the minorities, every time we are suffering from these judgments. And I don't know when we get justice which aligns with what we actually want, with our rights, protecting our rights. So that is a big question now, yes, about the judicial system.
Right. To what extent is this controversy a part of a larger project in which Muslim identity markers are being declared as sectarian and undesirable in public spaces, and that it is telling Muslims and non-Hindus that the state will dictate their appearance and their practices?
Yes. So the state is trying to, like, there was Azan ban controversy also recently. So they don't want Azan on the loudspeakers. And there were 15 days they are allowing for some particular Hindu festivals. So the Supreme Court judgment says just 15 days per year should be allowed. So my argument over there was, if you calculate the total minutes that the Azan takes, if it is 5 minutes, then the whole year, if you see, it will be just 6 days. If you calculate the number of minutes, then why doesn't the court include those 6 days for the Muslims in those 15 days? So, but they say no, it cannot be done. It has to be 15 days because they want to allow the Hindus to celebrate their festivals with loud music, but they don't want the Muslim Azan to be aired here.
Right. So the bottom line, Maria, Tebessum, what is this whole storm about?
So this probably the right-wing ideology is not only in India, but we see in many parts of the world. There is a wind of right-wing right now, and but I hope that they understand this politics of hatred and suppressing the minority rights. It won't benefit them in the long term.
Sure.
And if the minorities are suffering, then India suffers. If we are being wounded, then India is wounded. We are a part of India. We will live here. We will die here. And even when we die, we will be buried in the same soil.
Sure, yes, as Congress leader Rahul Gandhi said, by letting students' hijab come in the way of their education, we are robbing the future of the daughters of India. Prohibiting hijab-wearing students from entering school is a violation of fundamental rights. Márya Tebsum, director of Medina and Global Group of Institutions, educator and social activist. Many thanks indeed for joining us from Hyderabad and for your powerful ideas, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Zainab.
Always a pleasure to have you. ودائما الشكر لكم مشاهدينا الكرام على طيب المتابعة. للتفاعل أكثر تابعونا على صفحات السوشيال ميديا، وحتى نلتقي من كل فريق عمل من الداخل من كل الميادين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.